Coming to get you, Bobber.
Mean Creek is a 2004 crime drama directed by Jacob Aaron Estes, and it stars Rory Culkin, Ryan Kelly and Scott Miklowitz. Now, before anybody says, yes, this isn't 100% a horror movie, but the movie does have a lot of horror elements to it, so much so that I was devastated by this movie when I first seen it. When a teenager is bullied, his brother and friends lure the bully into the woods to seek revenge. Now, just hearing the plot synopsis for this film sends chills down your spine. I watched this movie when I was 19, 20 years old, and it haunted me. And I didn't even have kids at the time. I was a teenager at the time, and I felt like I knew these kids, you know, with all the things that they were doing in it, because the kids were so realistic. I connected with them so much. And then watching it recently, today, I watched the movie with a whole different view, because I'm a parent now, I've got kids, and watching the reaction of these kids when this bad thing happened, I'll get into that, and watching the parents as well, it's just so haunting and riveting that I just teared up. I was like, imagine, touch wood, but imagine that was your kid and that thing happened to your kid. It's absolutely awful and the worst thing that could ever happen to you. So basically you've got these bunch of kids just going about their everyday business, but there's this one kid played by Josh Peck who, he doesn't seem like a bully, he just seems like somebody who does his own thing, but throughout the film you can see why they don't like him, because he acts out slightly, he's got a disability as well. I'm not saying that's an excuse for bullying, but that's his disability, that he just fires up and he goes crazy every now and again, but he can be nice as well. So basically he's the kid who's the bully, and then you've got Rory Culkin, his brother and his friends. Rory Culkin says he gets bullied by this boy. He probably does, because he is a big boy, and he goes a step too far and he draws blood. So Rory Culkin says to his brother, like, this has to stop. And his brother's like, well, let's do something about it. So he gets his friends, they round up all their friends, and they decide, let's play a trick on this boy. Let's play a trick on the bully. So they decide this is genuinely what they were going to do. Pretend that it was his birthday, Rory Culkin's birthday, and invite George along, played by Josh Peck, and get him to strip naked in a dare, and then go away and leave him, and that's it. That's part of it. And that seems, again, I wouldn't do this, but this seems like a realistic thing for a teenager to do, or for teenagers to think of, an idea to do. So it's a very innocent prank, a very innocent joke that just went wrong. Halfway through them out in the wilderness, in the water and in the woods, they decide, let's call it off, because even though George is a bully, he's got a nice side to him as well, and they can understand why he does what he does, because he has a disability. But some of them do take it over the top, like Scott Miklowitz. They take it over the top, and eventually he accidentally dies, he drowns. And you think that's it, okay, he drowns, they have to go back, tell the police it was an accident. But Scott Miklowitz decides, I can't do that, because I'll go to jail, I'm older than you guys. So they all agree, and they shouldn't have done this, but they all agree to bury the body. And that's it, and don't say anything about it. But these kids being kids, they wouldn't shut up. There's no way they can keep this quiet for the rest of their life. So they get together and decide, do you know what, we can't live with this, we have to tell somebody, we have to tell the police. And that's what they do. And that's what the story is basically about. But the way they go through the journey from beginning to the end was so riveting and so realistic. And this movie is what, 16 years old now? And I can't believe, apart from Rory Culkin, I can't believe that all these kids all the teenage actors aren't still acting today. They do still act, but they should all be acting today, because all of their performances in this movie was absolutely incredible. I could get behind every kid in this film. Ryan Kelly, Trevor Morgan, Scott Miklowitz, everybody. I remember their names from when I was younger, and I remember their names today, especially Scott Miklowitz being Scotty from Eurotrip. Honestly guys, everybody in this film was absolutely outstanding. I don't know how the director didn't even get nominated for an Oscar. I don't know how any of the kids never get nominated. The film came and went with a whimper, and not a lot of people watched the movie, and it has got a cult following, and even to this day it's got a big cult following now. But I just can't believe how unpopular the film is, but I can assure you, if you haven't seen it before and if you watch it, you'll absolutely love it. Acting aside, I think that there wasn't much to go with in terms of score, etc., because there wasn't any score in the film, and I think that was good as well because the film was so quiet and eerie, and then it was set in the woods. I think it was an independent movie, so I think everything was shot on location. It was just so eerie. The cinematography was great, especially after George drowned. That's when everything went from gloom to very gloom, because it was a gloom and dull movie, but after he died, seeing everybody's faces, it actually looked like, honestly guys, it actually looked like he died, because the reaction from every kid was absolutely shocking. They didn't know what to do, they didn't know what to say. Obviously it's never happened to me before, but I would probably react the same way they did, apart from hide the body. But the reactions of them all was just so realistic. It was almost like a documentary. It was that real. One thing I really loved about this was seeing the aftermath of the movie, because some movies show you certain things like this and we don't see the aftermath. But after George died, we see the aftermath straight away. And not only do we see the aftermath, we see their reactions after it, what their decisions are after burying the body. Do they just leave it? No, they don't. Being kids, they don't leave it. They have to say something. And that's when we get to George's parents, George's mum. Seeing her reaction was, honestly, it was horrible, really horrible. You get coming of age teen movies like Stand By Me, the Goonies, The Monster Squad, all those kind of 80s coming of age movies, which were fantastic. I would probably put this on the same category as Stand By Me, as being a coming of age drama, because not only is it funny at times, well, there wasn't that much comedy in it, but it was funny at times, but it had a group of realistic kids that done things that kids that age would do, and you had a dead body. You know, you had the realism of what real life was like, just like Stand By Me. And I think that Mean Creek does that perfectly. It shows you what teens do to have fun, but it also shows you the really dark side. I remember this film being one of my favourite movies back in 2004, and I think when I was younger, a lot of films were my favourite movie growing up because I was still young at the time. But I truly do believe that even after watching this movie 16 years later, it is still one of my favourite movies of all time. So have any of you guys seen Mean Creek yet? And if you haven't seen it, where have you been for the last 16 years? I do highly recommend that you watch this movie, guys. It is on everybody's must watch list for sure. If you've seen it though, guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you've seen it when you were younger like myself, and then seen it again as an adult. See how your perspective changes. Again guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.